Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Golfmonger Show. I'm your host, Brian Steffen. I am the Golfmonger. It is day one of the U.S. Open in Chambers Bay out at University Place, Washington, just outside of Seattle, out on Puget Sound. What a day we're seeing so far. If you've caught any of the TV coverage so far, whether you're watching it online like I was cheating in my office this morning, or the Fox started its network coverage at noon here Eastern time, if you didn't know where they were playing, you would think they were playing in Europe. You would think this was the Open Championship, not the U.S. Open, because that's exactly what Chambers Bay looks like. It's brown and spotty and rolling and link style, and you can't tell where the green starts and the fairway ends, and it's like 70 degrees. You know, it's here on the East Coast. It's heat index. It's 108 today. Yeah. Here in South Carolina, it's ridiculous, but it's like 70 there today at the Chambers Bay. As we come on the air real quick, everybody's, the early groups are just making the turn onto the back. And you got 6 guys, 7 guys at 2 under with Mickelson, Matsuyama, Stenson, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed all at 2 under. So Phil off to a good start through 10 holes. So DJ's through 7, Patrick Reed's only through 6. So be interesting to see. The course is going to change every day. So the USGA, if guys go out and the leader today is like 7 or 8 under, they're going to make it a lot tougher tomorrow.
So do you think that the course, we got people under par right now? There's a lot of people predicted that wouldn't happen, except on day one if they started off on a fairly soft course.
Yeah, they're only 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 guys under par right now. Now, there is a good number of the field half the field hasn't teed off yet.
Yeah.
But of the players, half the field is on the course, and only 12 guys are under par.
So
I hope that they don't go nuts with changing the course. Let the guys play. The course will defend itself. You don't necessarily need to move tee boxes, pins. The course will defend itself. I've seen the feature group online on USGA.org this morning is Mickelson, Bubba Watson, and Angel Cabrera. I mean, what a fun threesome to watch play golf, right?
Yeah.
I watch Angel Cabrera hit the dead center of the green and end up off the back.
Yeah.
On a hole with like a 8-iron in his hand. Not like he hit a fairway wood in, but he hit the wrong side of the mound, and it just continued to roll and trickled off down into a runoff area. So,
yeah.
And if you don't have the right spin, I watched Phil and Bubba hit from the same spot, hit the same shot, same landing area, one spin and stop next to the hole, the other one roll 15 feet further. So it's about your imagination and the shot making and landing in the right spots, and it's a lot of guesswork because, like I said, these guys haven't played there. There's a bit of truth to what Mike Davis said about nobody that's not just going to come in here and play a couple practice rounds has a prayer to win.
Yeah,
because of this course. All the players, I love their reaction. They're like, Rory McIlroy said, "What's his handicap?"
Yeah,
I mean, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be just fine. The point he was making is because nobody's really played it. It's so different than every other U.S. Open venue ever. Really, I think that if you don't, you have an advantage. If you do your homework and you show up a little early and you play some practice rounds and you really scout the course. So, I mean, out of context, when he says anybody only shows up and first a couple practice rounds doesn't have a chance, he just chose his words poorly. Yeah. What he was saying is it's a unique golf course, and if everybody, it's the kind of course that, like, if you're playing it as an amateur, you'd be like, man, I can't wait to play it again because I know I'll play it so much better. Yeah. Because now that I've seen it once, it's just different, and there's a lot of mixed reaction. I know on Mike and Mike this morning, they were going through some of the reactions, some of the negative things some of the players were saying, and then in my mind as I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, that guy's not going to win. That guy's not going to win. That guy's out. That guy's out, and that goes right along with what Jack Nicklaus said. He says, when during practice rounds, during tournaments, when guys were complaining about this or complaining about that, he said, I would just mentally take a note and go, that guy's off the list. That guy's off the list.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about that guy. I don't have to worry about that guy. I don't have to worry about that guy. Because if you're not,
your head's got to be in it, man.
If you're worried about the greens are too hard or they're too fast or too slow or the fairways are too this or too that, your head's not in what you got to do to win. Yep. And Nicklaus said I could eliminate. He goes, again in a big tournament, because I could eliminate half the field just listening to the guys talk in the locker room. And to a guy like Nicklaus, did he really need to eliminate half the field to win? Think about it. But they're off to a good start. It'll be fun. I think the winner's going to be in under par. I just do. I think guys are just so good anymore. And I know we're only a couple years removed from when Marion, Justin Rose won at +1, but he was the only one under par at -1, right? Yeah, I just think that
I'd be surprised.
Guys are too good. I think
it all depends on what the USGA does with the course.
Well, you're right. Unless there's 28 guys under par and the leaders at 7 under, and they go out and do something stupid tomorrow where nobody can break 74.
Yeah.
That's the only or if after 36 holes.
So what do you think the cut line's going to be?
Well, I don't know. It's way too early to tell. I hate to say that because you asked me and I got to give you an answer, but because I don't like to leave it out there like that. I don't know, 7 +7
+7
+5 somewhere in there.
Well, just so you know, this morning on the round of shows we did this morning with the Godfather and HR3 and Dr. Grind, they were in 8 to 10 range for the cut line.
Over.
Yeah.
I just think I think more guys are going to score. I just think.
Yeah.
I don't think we're giving guys enough credit. I don't think we're giving the golfer enough credit to it's almost like the opposite of Marion.
Yeah.
Remember when because Marion was so short.
Yep.
2 years ago. Oh, these guys are going to tear it up.
Yep.
Like the USGA didn't just blindly close their eyes and pick Marion Country Club to play.
Yeah.
They knew it was going to be a tough test, and they were right. Everybody was wrong. Even the talking heads on the Golf Channel and wherever else were predicting a double-digit under winner, and Justin Rose was, was the only one under par.
So have you changed your picks any as we get a little bit closer?
No, I did and I didn't. I didn't much. If I pull up my team, and I lost my page, but I'm kicking myself in the butt right now, and if he keeps it up because I have Phil on the bench.
Yeah, I started him.
I didn't mean to put him on the bench, but I thought I had him in the starting lineup this morning, so I didn't pay attention to my team.
I got one on the bench that I'm thinking I should have that I should have started as Matzian.
I have him in.
Yeah. But I started Mickelson and Rose in that group.
How about I have both those guys on the bench? I'm an idiot. I have. I'm not doing bad because I have. I can't get my thing to come up. Anyway, maybe I can find it on my phone. I have Patrick Reed in the lineup today.
I do too.
I have Rory in the lineup. I have Matsuyama and I have Jules.
I don't even have Rory on my team.
And I have Matsuyama in the lineup. So Rory's -1, Matsuyama's -1, Reed's -1, and Spieth hasn't even teed off. Phil's -2 is kicking me in the butt.
I got Spieth on the bench.
See, I thought I had Phil starting and Spieth on the bench, and it was the other way around when I didn't look at my team this morning because I thought that's the way I set it up the other day. And because, if you remember, on Tuesday when I was in on Fantasy Golf with Jeff Deal, I was even thinking about taking Spieth off my team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I thought in that moment, I took it while I was sitting in my office because I Skyped in on the Jeff show, that I switched and took Spieth on the bench in case I decided to take him off the team. And apparently I never got around to.
See, I considered taking Spieth off my team after I watched an interview with Keimer yesterday, and he was talking about after winning the Open and then plunging, and he said every bit of that is from all the media and the pressure that it takes being there, that comes with being there. And I'm thinking about Spieth and the Masters, and Is his head capable of handling?
The correct answer is yes.
Yeah, he's a little different guy.
And Martin Kaymer obviously cannot. Remember, Martin Kaymer was the number one player in the world and then disappeared.
Yeah.
So mentally, he's not strong.
Yeah.
That's what that tells me. Because with no injury, he kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take what Martin Kaymer said about the pressure for nothing, because he was up to 7 years ago. He was when he won the PGA, he won at Whistling Straits.
Yeah.
And then he was at the top of the world golf rankings, and then he disappeared. He was all the way back down to 200 and something.
Yeah.
I mean, so I wouldn't take what he says too seriously, because obviously he doesn't have the mental side of the game to keep up with it, and I think Spieth does. And I think part of it's because he's got the right people around him, and he's just got that attitude.
Yeah, he is definitely a different breed. He's a different kind of player than we've seen.
He is,
and I mean the way he strategically takes himself around the course. I'm listening to some of the great mic covers that they had at the Masters between him and his caddy was educational.
Yeah. What I liked about another thing I heard in the interviews was Rory McIlroy had said that he was asked about, last two starts he hasn't over in Europe, he hasn't even made the cut. And he says, yeah, but I've won a couple of times too. And he said, I'm not worried about missing the cut. He said, in 6 tournaments, I've got 3 wins and 3 missed cuts. I'll take that over 6 top 10s any day of the week.
There you go.
And that goes to show he's not worried about from week to week. Is it going to carry over?
Yeah.
He's worried about today and what's in the task at hand. And they can stretch this golf course out so far. You realize if they take it out to the maximum length, it's a little over 7,900 yards.
Yeah, that's what almost 8,000 yards.
7,900 yards.
There's a 3-hole stretch that's over a mile.
Yes.
It's over.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's incredible. What they can do with this golf course. I thought it was amazing that one of the par 3s, and I'm trying to find it here, I think it's number 13 or 14 on the back. It's a par 3. No, that's not 13. It must be 14 or 15. 15. It can be as short as 123 yards or as long as 246.
And is that the one that can play uphill or downhill, depending on where they tee it?
I think
there's one of them that they can change it from the elevations, that it can be an uphill shot or a downhill shot from the different teeing grounds.
All it says here in the little hole description said that it can be the shortest hole in the course, shortest par 3, or the longest par 3, depending on where they put the tees. Then you've got, of course, we've talked about this, number 1 and number 1 and number 18 are both tee boxes to where they can either be a par 5 or a par 4.
Yep.
And according to the USGA, I think we're going to see them both. Yeah. We're going to see them both play opposite.
Yeah.
But what they'll do to keep it as a par 70 is when they move number 1 to a par 5, they'll move number 18 to a par 4.
Yeah.
My opinion, and I might be wrong because I haven't read or heard, this is just my thought, is I think they will make 18 a par 5 on Sunday. I just think that adds a little drama.
Yeah.
Because that makes number 4, that makes number 1 a very tough long par 4. So you got to start off right.
Yeah.
You got to start off strong with a tough hole right out the gate.
Yeah.
But you get a chance to.
You got a birdie chance.
But you got a birdie chance at the end.
Yeah.
It's just my thought, and they may have already come out and said what they're going to do, and I could be, and I haven't paid attention. I'm busy with some other things, but that's what I would like to see. It makes sense to me that you go par 5 on 18 on day 4 on Sunday. I mean, how great would that be to have a 604-yard par 5 to finish up the 72nd hole?
In general, what's your opinion, since you're the most opinionated man on radio, about what's this going to do for TV, for golf? What kind of effect do you think this is going to have? Do you think it's going to move the needle?
What, a tournament like this?
Being Chambers Bay with the hype about how tough it is.
I hope so. I hope it makes a lot of people tune in to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I think you get the benefit of it being on the West Coast, so it's in prime time.
Yep, I agree.
You know, you get like tonight, it's live until 11 o'clock.
Do you think the average amateur would like to see the pros shoot a big number or a low number?
A big number.
That's what I said too. I think
that's the one thing that attracts. You know, if amateurs say, anybody that says they don't like, that they think the U.S. Open is their favorite major instead of Augusta, is because they like the fact that they set the course up so hard. Watching the best players in the world struggle and think par is a good score, makes you feel good about your game as an amateur.
Yeah, I agree.
Because let's face it, as an amateur, anytime you make par, you're happy.
Yep.
And I don't even care if you're a low handicap. Like if you're a single-digit guy, if you make par, you're happy.
Yep.
And anybody that says, like, you get frustrated if you stick a nice iron shot into about 9 feet and you got a shot at birdie and you miss it. And you know why you get frustrated? Not because you think you're good enough, you should make that putt. You know it might be the only chance you get all day. You don't get a lot of opportunities like that. Yeah. So that's why you're upset. Yeah. Not that, I'm so good, I can't believe I missed a 9-foot putt.
Yeah.
It's, holy crap, I may not get another 9-foot putt for birdie for another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, but you can never be upset with par as an amateur. Well, in the U.S. Open, in most venues, the way they set it up, the fact that par is considered a good score, it makes the pros look more like.
It brings the game back to back toward the amateur.
But the funny, it does.
Yeah.
But just think in the same setup from the same tees if the amateurs played it.
Oh, I was getting ready to ask you that question.
Guys couldn't even finish the course.
Yeah.
There would be. Yeah. Your average golfer. Now remember, your average golfer in America can't break 100.
Well, the HR3 told the Godfather this morning that he guaranteed if he played it from the same, that if the Godfather played Chambers Bay from the same tees as the pros, that he wouldn't break 100.
Oh, I guarantee he wouldn't. I promise you he wouldn't.
Yeah. And I'd pay to see him not
break 100.
Yeah. I'd go watch that. Yeah.
I'd play with him and not break 130 just to see him not break 100. I would. Yeah. I would. Well, because they're talking about one of the holes, speaking of not breaking 100, like one of the par fours, they made the comment if they set the tee box at a certain spot, and I think it might be number 5, that if the wind blows against them, some of the shorter players in the field won't be able to reach the fairway.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Professional PGA Tour players.
Yeah, wow.
European Tour players.
Yeah.
Will not reach the fairway. Some of the shorter guys. You know, your Luke Donalds, your Zach Johnsons, your guys like that don't crank it out there 290 every time or plus. Yeah. That's another reason why in the wiffle waffling where, you know, some people are saying Rory hasn't been in good shape, blah, blah. If you don't have length on this course, you're at a big disadvantage. And it's tough enough already. Seems like it's going to be, that you don't want to add to the problems.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way to say it. You don't want to compound how hard the golf course is and how hard it's going to be to hit it close to pin placements by taking the fact that instead of hitting a 9-iron, you're hitting a 6-iron.
Yep.
Or even a 7-iron. You don't want to add. You don't want to add to the problems. There's already enough. So, and I said this on Jeff's show on Fantasy Golf, that the reason I like Phil, 2 reasons. He's got drive to win the U.S. Open, to complete the career Grand Slam. And he's got 3 top 5s in his last 5 starts.
Yeah.
So everybody saying he's not playing well this year hasn't been paying attention.
No, he's coming.
3 of his last 5 starts, he's dialed it in. He's hitting stride.
Yeah.
And a place like Chambers Bay is going to take a lot of imagination.
Yeah, and he is the king. Yeah.
Where did he win his last major? At the British Open, at the Open Championship. Yeah. Where everyone else was struggling on Sunday. He shot he shot 66?
Yeah.
Hitting some inventive shots. The word Jordan Spieth used to describe Chambers Bay. A reporter asked him earlier in the week, give me one word to describe this course, and he said inventive.
Yeah.
Who's the master of inventive?
Yeah.
Phil Mickelson.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
He's starting on my team.
I'm kicking myself. I didn't pay close enough attention to my team this morning because he's not.
Yeah.
But guess who's going to be in the lineup tomorrow?
Phil's going
to be in the lineup tomorrow. Yeah.
Unless he shoots a +8 today.
No, actually, if he shoots +8 today, he's definitely going in the lineup tomorrow.
Okay.
If he goes crazy and birdies in on the back 9 from where he's at right now through 11, I might not start him tomorrow. Because if he goes like 7 under today, he's not going to repeat that tomorrow. But right now he's got 4 birdies and 1 bogey, according to USOpen.com, through 11 holes. He bogeyed 10, but he birdied 11. So he's leading at 3 under, along with Patrick Reed, who's also at 3 under through 7 holes.
And those of you that might be listening to this even later, this is opening day.
This is opening day. This is Thursday. We're only half the field hasn't even teed off yet, so you can't really read too much into it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the weather's going to do later. You don't know. I mean, is the wind going to pick up? Is it not? I mean, it's
the good thing about doing these kind of snapshot shows throughout the thing is that people can listen to it and see how good or bad we were.
Yeah, I love it. I love the fact that my ridiculous opinion is archived forever.
Yeah.
So that like someone downloads the show 6 months from now and Phil doesn't make the cut.
Yeah.
And they're like, boy, that guy's an idiot.
Who's that Golfmonger?
Who's that Golfmonger guy? What an idiot, man. He said Phil's primed for this. He's been playing great. And he didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
What the hell is he talking about?
That's exactly
I can't believe they put that guy on the air.
Yeah. How did you get that job?
I know somebody. But I think it's going to be a fun watch because it's different.
Yep.
And that to me, it was great. Like last year, the U.S. Open was a fun watch because, yes, it was back at number 2 in Pinehurst for the 3rd time in 15 years. But it was a totally different golf course because the redesign.
Yep.
So everybody couldn't wait to see how the course was going to play with no water, no rough.
Yeah.
U.S. Open is known for rough. We're going to take it to a venue that has 0 rough. And it turned out to be, other than one guy ate it up, Martin Keimer, it turned out to be a great venue for the Open. So this is 3 years in a row, going back to Marion, that you've had 3 completely different golf courses for the U.S. Open, and I mean night and day different. So I think it's gonna be a fun watch, and it's always fun when you get here for the folks on the East Coast when you get primetime golf.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of fun. Get home from work tonight, turn it on, and you're watching live coverage. You're not watching the Golf Channel's rerun of earlier in the day. I like it. I do. It's almost as fun as in next month when we wake up at 5 in the morning to watch the Open Championship.
Absolutely.
And it's done by 2 in the afternoon. It's different because we don't get that a whole lot here on the East Coast. So, who do you like?
Brooks Koepka.
I like him. I do like him. I think he made the cut onto my fantasy team.
None of the guys this morning agreed with me. They said, no.
He's not. That's because they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Stick with me, kid. I'll take you places.
I mean, the Godfather likes Sergio.
Well, he always likes Sergio.
I know.
He picks Sergio in every tournament.
Every
the guy doesn't win anything, but he picks him all the time.
He does.
Well, keep picking him. Go ahead, George. Just keep picking him, and I'll just keep finishing further and further ahead of you in the fantasy.
Yeah.
And you notice he claims he knows so much about the game of golf, but yet he doesn't even participate in our fantasy league.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want a record of how bad he'd be at picking.
That's exactly right.
You can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
And I hope he listens to this.
Yeah.
Because if he was sitting here next to me, I'd tell him the same damn thing. He won't get in it because he doesn't want on record that he would finish towards the bottom.
Yep.
Because he doesn't know what he's talking about 90% of the time. And I'm being nice. So, no, day one of the U.S. Open at Chambers Bay is always, well, wherever it is, but it's Chambers Bay this year is always fun. Day one of any major is fun because everybody's got opinions of who's going to do well and who's going to do what or whatever. And then we're in such a knee-jerk reaction society that, like, say the guy you picked and you think is going to do well, say that if it was over right now and the leader was at 3 under, and you picked, I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom, and you picked like, let's see, find a big name that isn't off to a good start. Webb Simpson, okay? Or Jason Duffner. A lot of people think Webb Simpson was going to do well. I don't know why, but a lot of people, were touting him. Through 6, he's +2. So let's say today's already over, and he's 5 shots back. You know how many guys are moaning and groaning and complaining, oh my God, what a terrible idea. I can't believe I let the guys on SportsCenter or the guys on the Golf Channel talk me into picking Webb Simpson. But but because it's the first day. And they're like, oh, man, I should have taken Phil. Look, he's leading. He's going to win. Blah, blah. We're so knee-jerk reaction in society now because everything is so instant and the information, it's ridiculous. Just because someone's in the just because right now, through 12 holes, Phil's got the lead, he might not even be leading at the end of the day. Yeah. Half the field hasn't even teed off yet. But I like the first day of any major because there's so much build-up to it. And everybody's making projections and picks and whatever. And then you react after the first day. And the leaderboard on the first day never looks the same as it does on Sunday afternoon. Very rarely. Might be a name or two that plays steady all week. But it doesn't ever really look the same. I just think it's fun. The first day and the last day are so fun. So, but I think we're about out of time today. We could go on and on about a major forever. And I think let's make some time tomorrow morning, day 2. We'll look back at what happened today. Yeah, before they start playing tomorrow. I think we'll have some time. I'll Skype in and we'll.
And for the benefit of the live listeners, this will go into the replay, so some of you will hear it later, and some of you may listen to it from our archives and wonder what the heck we're doing. But this is day 1 of the U.S. Open. A check-in here since they've teed off our first one. We'll do another check-in tomorrow. We're also going to do an update on Saturday, and then Sunday for the last 4 hours of the tournament, we'll be doing live commentary here on TGD Radio.
And I'm going to have to miss it.
Yeah,
that's
bad,
okay,
man.
I'll be having fun watching my son play lacrosse, so I'll be recording, and I'll watch you guys. I'll be listening to you guys while I'm watching it at night when I finally get home and get a chance to sit down and watch it. I'll listen to you guys.
All right.
Well, thanks for pushing Jeff Gilder, our producer, for pushing the buttons, the man behind the glass, getting me out on the air here because all I know how to do is talk. The Golf Director Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When you're visiting the Golf Director, be sure to check out our featured golf course pages. You can find information about course conditions, specials, and a whole lot more. If you're looking to book a golf package, hit us up here at 844-464-6531. See Dave or go on Twitter and hashtag just call Dave, and he'll get back at you. All of our Golf Director programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. If you want to catch up on a show you might have missed, just go ahead and click on the TGD Radio and TGD TV tabs on the menu at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1 billion devices on iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Blueberry, and the Myrtle Beach Golf app. This has been U.S. Open Chambers Bay Day 1 edition of the Golfmonger Show. I'm your host, Brian Steffen. Hit me up on Twitter at Golfmonger. Hit us here at the Golf Director at the station. Tune in for more great news and information on golf and the U.S. Open next. And as always, keep it in the short grass.